Marijuana is one of the most talked about issues of our time, yet the facts are often distorted and blurred. Now, here are the real facts about marijuana after back-breaking and world-shattering research conducted by Scott Remington Steele Adams and Robert Leopold Dew. Here is the green truth. You may applaud now.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
We gon' shake it, spin it around. We gon' tear this thing on up. We gon' act a fool in front of the law, cause we don't give a what.
Yo, if we gon' do a little something, we gon' do it big. Drive the ice truck around the hood and give our necklaces. Getting this? Is there a need for foolishness? I swear, at times, man, I think y'all new to this. You want the truth? Be close, follow instructions. Two ways of this, you and I, a large function. What's the reason? Big dogs think they ferocious. Think what you want, but chill on over.
Marijuana. There's no question that it's the subject of much controversy, but it wasn't always the topic of debate. In fact, it was illegal not to grow hemp in early colonial America. The plant had so many industrial uses that in World War II, the government advocated for farmers to grow the plant. But now that same government has illegalized marijuana, it seems politicians have ignored the facts, and Newt Gingrich is a prime example.
I think Jefferson or George Washington would have rather strongly discouraged you from growing marijuana, and their techniques of dealing with it would have been rather more violent than the current government.
In the 1800s, Kentucky was known as the hemp state. It was the #1 cash crop, even beating tobacco. The first laws against hemp began in the early 1900s. Hemp was called marijuana as a derogatory term. Then in September of 1937, the federal government made marijuana illegal. So what happened that so drastically changed America's views? No matter how it happened, the entertainment industry undoubtedly played a large part.
Herb is a plant. I mean, herbs are good for everything. Why these people who want to do so much good for everyone, who call themselves governments and this and that, why them say you must not use the herb? You see? And we check that and we can't find, we just see them just say, no, you mustn't use it because it make you rebel. Against what?
Now that we've seen the opposing views in the entertainment industry, we wanted to know what the local opinion was.
I feel marijuana is really, as I've read it, an entry drug. That it seems to be the first drug that people try because it's the one most available and easily cheaper for the most part, and I feel it's a dangerous thing to get involved in.
I view marijuana as a problem in society, especially with the high school age kids. In my 16 years experience in law enforcement, marijuana has been a gateway drug that has led to currently a lot of heroin use. The gateway typically goes from marijuana to pain pills, and pain pills have gotten increasingly more difficult to get a hold of, and that has opened up the segue into heroin.
Well, obviously it is a controlled substance, and the reason for it is because of the effect that marijuana has on the body and on the mind.
No, I do not think marijuana should be legalized.
No, and the reason being is I do not think that legalizing it will diminish the demand for it. I think what will wind up happening is there will always be a black market for a lower cost drug.
I hate to see anything that's dangerous to be legalized.
Medical marijuana, I feel the same way. I don't know that, I haven't done a lot of the research on the medicinal values and qualities of marijuana, but I feel, and from what my experience is in talking to some law enforcement in California, it's easy to get a medical card to get medical marijuana, so people are just circumventing state and federal statutes prohibiting marijuana.
In 1996, with Proposition 215, the state of California made medical marijuana legal. Residents must get a medical marijuana card from a doctor. Since then, over 200,000 people have received this card. It's now estimated that sale of medical marijuana and related products brings in $3 billion a year to California's economy from taxes.
My name is Charles Witt.
Okay, Charles.
I'm a terminally ill cancer patient. I've been diagnosed with cancer for about 8 years. They've given me all these opiate drugs. This is all just, it's all killing me quicker than what I should be dying. And the marijuana helps me. It relieves the pain, the stress.
I do think there's a place for that. Obviously, those patients who are prescribed that, the THC, which is the content inside of marijuana, does have a proven effect on reducing pressure in the eyes for people that have glaucoma. It does control some of the nausea associated with chemotherapy treatments. I think under those limited circumstances, it is an appropriately dispensed product. But again, it's under intense medical supervision.
And if marijuana is the way that can help somebody relieve pain, get through chemo, then I don't have any problems with
that. Because it's an intoxicating substance.
A lot of times the physiological reaction to the intoxicant, whether it's alcohol or marijuana, is individualized. And what it really does on both of their levels is it breaks down your inhibitors. So the things that would keep you behaving are less influential in your decision making. So if you're in a group, what you'll generally find is if the group begins to become disorderly and problematic, you too will see less of a problem with engaging in that kind of behavior.
Typically it's not marijuana alone, it's marijuana in combination with alcohol. I don't have hard statistics with me, but I can tell you of the last 5 fatal collisions I've investigated as an accident reconstructionist, 3 have had marijuana involvement.
Many times the accidents that we investigate, there are multiple influences. Somebody's been drinking and they're under some level of intoxication from a narcotic product. A lot of times they mix marijuana with, let's say, PCP, heroin, and things like that, and they ingest it.
No, not a bit.
No. I think that people will still have the demand for it. I think there will still be a black market, even if it's legal, or somebody's going to want to undercut the, let's say, the Food and Drug regulations if it were to be legalized, to put something onto the market. The vast majority, I would say 80% of all of our crime that we experience has some connection to drug abuse. And with that, marijuana often is the crack in the door to an addict.
And where do these addicts end up? In prison. In the late 70s, America began a war that is still being waged today, the war on drugs.
It is necessary to wage a new all-out offensive.
In 2011, American taxpayers spent over $63 billion to keep its prisoners in jail. Half of all people in the federal prison system are in there for drug-related crimes. It takes on average $60,000 a year to keep someone in jail, while rehab offers a safer option and keeps the individual out of prison and away from violence.
What do you do to get the message out? What would be said?
I wish I could do more. I don't think we do enough to get that message out to teenagers. And I'd like to get more messages out to parents as well.